podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Social Media Derby. Slightly delayed episode this week, but there's no 12:30 kickoff on Saturday, so we've got a Saturday pod. But before we get into it, for those watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment and share if you can. For those listening on Spotify, Apple or any of the podcasting platforms, please follow, give us a 5-star review. And as usual, views expressed in the pod are just for entertainment purposes, nothing serious. No real opinions other than football related. How you man doing? Rhys, Khem, Razor's going to join in a bit. You guys both got dubs in this past week. How you man feeling?
Finally.
I'm all right.
You can tell that, Rhys, you're playing for something. You got FA Cup at least, but you can tell the rest of us ain't playing for nothing, innit? We're just absolutely coasting until the end of the season. We'll wait till Razor
we are obviously playing for bragging rights. The biggest fixture in these shores is tomorrow, so there's always that.
Yeah. We'll get into it. But even that, bro, me and Rhys were chatting off air just now. It's the weirdest lead up to a United Liverpool game in ages because, like, both of us, apart from bragging rights. Yeah, we if you didn't know that, that we were playing each other, you'd be none the wiser, man. Because there's been
no one really cares this year.
No real build up anywhere. Even the things I've seen, people are forcing it a little bit, and it's like you're not happy with your manager. We've got interim manager. We both kind of in flux, isn't it?
And there's no Mo, so it's just a pointless match, really.
True.
Yeah.
Let's get into Chelsea first, though, Rhys. Since you man finally got a dub, FA Cup semi-final, 1-0 win against Leeds. A lot of people were actually saying this was a bit of a banana peel for you lot, considering Leeds' form. I mean, they even played yesterday and they battered Burnley again, so they're obviously playing really well. But Seth MacFarlane got a dub for you guys, so you got to be happy with that. FA Cup final against City. How did you went there as well? You were at Wembley. What did you make of it, bro?
It was a lot better than games I've seen in the past, and I think the atmosphere as well. But I think Leeds, they came into the game. When I got there, you could see the fans. They were ready for the game. I think they all had high expectations that they were going to win, and then I think that expectation just kind of played into our hands. But no, we were much better on the transition, more physical, created more chances, kind of give us the idea that they weren't playing for senior. But yeah, I think they came in there with a point to prove. And yeah, we got the win, but it's kind of nothing. We need to kind of take this energy and carry it on through to the next few games that we got and into the final, because I still think Leeds, they were threatening, but I just think the hype and the expectation, I don't know when the last time they was at Wembley, but I just felt like a lot of their fans kind of felt they would walk away with the win. And I think once we kind of scored it, we just kind of shut them down and they couldn't really offer anything. I think there was 3 chances I think they fashioned, particularly, I think Aronson in the first half, he went through on goal against Rob Sanchez. But other than that, they weren't threatening at all. So, it's a good game. Good game from McFarlane as well. I think he kind of just played to everyone's strengths as well. Enzo got back to box crashing, but he was also pressing very well. He was very good at nicking the ball in midfield and then going in transition. Garnacho, as painful as he is to watch, 1v1. He was kind of a threat, but it's just his end product. It's just really poor. But overall, yeah, good performance. João Pedro, whoa. I can't believe I forgot to mention him. I thought that was an outstanding performance from him. Great hold-up play. He was brilliant at bringing players into the game. And yeah, he was a threat all day against Leeds. So we just need more of that, man. And I feel we've gone. I still think the push for Champions League might be gone now, but it's just a case of just winning as many games as we can. Do I fancy us to beat City in a final? No, but it's a one-off game and anything can happen, man. So yeah, we'll kind of see sort of how we click on from here, but much better performance in all, and I think just the atmosphere in general at Wembley. I think the fans were up for it as well. Like, it was really good. Just need more of that energy at Stamford Bridge, and yeah, let's just see how the next few games go. To be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you though, bro. I do think yeah. Got to get that in there. But I do agree with you, though, bro. I think Leeds came into it a bit, I wouldn't say cocky or arrogant, but I think they were definitely, they felt like they had a good chance. And I think I wouldn't say bottled it, but they didn't show up. They did have a few, like, half chances, like you said, the Aronson one, but yeah, otherwise, I think you guys scored the goal and then just managed the game out. And it was pretty comfy. But yeah, you're right. They probably haven't been in a big cup final.
Yeah, you could tell they haven't been there before.
Yeah. They needed a bit of time, I think, a bit more experience. They got a lot of young players as well. People forget that about Leeds as well, and inexperienced players. So I think you guys just had the nous to just manage it out, man. But I wanted to ask you about this because I've seen there's a lot of rumors around Iriola, some Cesc chat. Xabi Alonso, I saw linked heavily with you, man, this week as well. Is there any world that McFarlane can actually keep the job, or you think it's 100% just end of the season until you get a proper manager? As Rhys crashed on us.
Don't know.
Man's just got like a very pensive look on him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, bro. But you just lagged for a minute.
I can't hear you. What did you say?
Bro, you might want to come out and come back in again.
What did you say?
This guy. Bro, your internet's lagging. Go out and come back in.
He said Drogba or Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, exactly. Khem, what did you make of the semi-final, though? Do you think Chelsea were good value for it, or you think they got quite fortunate that Leeds bottled it a little bit?
They done what they needed to do. Yeah, it was a big occasion for Leeds, and I guess they're stuck a little bit trying to balance. I think if Leeds fans usually want to win a cup, don't they? But I think knowing that their opponents could be Chelsea and then City, I think they were happy to just get those points in the Premier League and stay up. I don't think they really took the game to Chelsea enough, and Chelsea just done what they needed to do. They're such a weird club, man. Anytime they have like an average season, they still even just make a final or bag a trophy somewhere, don't they? They always do it. Like, so fair play to them. I know we're just talking about the Leeds game, but it was quite boring. But at least you got to be there, Rhys. It's probably the best viewpoint for the match, really, because I didn't really enjoy it on TV, but at least the atmosphere looked kind of fun. Maybe some of you guys should bring your own flags, though. But with that in mind, like, fair play to Seth MacFarlane. To the question that you asked when it was lagging for Rhys, I don't think he'd get the job. He'd have to win the FA Cup for a start to even his name even be considered. But again, I don't think they'd give it to him. But I think it would help him with other jobs. Like maybe other clubs might want to take him to be their head coach, even in the Prem or maybe Championship or even overseas. So like I feel like that could work in his favour, especially if he beats Pep Guardiola in this quite a convincing manner as well. But, fair play to you guys. I don't think semi-final should be at Wembley anymore. By the way, I feel like it takes away from from the showpiece event. I feel like they should go back to the neutral ground kind of thing. And to be fair to all the other clubs outside of London, it would be kind of fair on like other towns to actually just travel like to somewhere not so fucking far as London and as expensive. So I feel like they need to run it back in the Midlands or something. I just had to throw that one in, man.
No, I agree with that, but we know what it is. We know that the whole Wembley semi-final thing is just for them to make their bread back, because how much it costs to build the stadium. But I do agree that it was better when you'd have one of the semi-finals at Villa Park and one of the semi-finals somewhere else, just because. Yes, it's a trek to go all the way down for the semi, and then you didn't even make it through to the final. Like, I feel like that vibe should be specifically for the showpiece final game to win the cup. But at the same time, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But I do think it would help the atmosphere, because let's say you had City and United or Liverpool and Everton in the semi-final, and they've all got to travel down to London for the semi-final. Just logistically, it makes more sense to just do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But they got to make their bread back, bro. That's all those years in Cardiff. They probably overspent rebuilding that stadium. They've got to make money back.
But it's been open like 20 years. They've had NFL there and all kinds of crap, man. I think they should be fine now, to be honest.
Yeah, but let's not dig into the FA too much, because
Wembley makes a lot of money on them.
Yeah. It does, bro. It does. But they've got their reasons in it. We'll leave that to them. But no, Rhys, I guess your take on because I hear what Khem was saying. I do think it's a mad long shot, but we're obviously in a similar position with Carrick. Like as the interim till the end of the season. Now he's looking like one of the favourites for the job. And people were saying early days, if he wins all the games, then maybe we'll consider him. Do you agree with Khem that maybe McFarlane's got to win the FA Cup final and gets Champions League somehow to be considered? Or do you think Chelsea are a madhouse? I think there could be another scenario where you still hire him anyway, but I don't know what you think.
Well, okay, I wouldn't put it past them to hire him. Obviously, I know what they're like, but we definitely can't hire him. Like I said before, he hasn't even got a pro license. So what the like? It would make sense in the grand scheme of things that this is Chelsea and what we do is completely arse backwards. So they might put him in the dugout, but I don't think it's a good idea. I think we need someone. I'm not saying he doesn't get the players' respect, but I just feel like we need that sort of figure in the dugout. Obviously, who's going to take this job under these circumstances, we still don't know, because it's no proper manager will want to work like this. So yeah, he might end up getting the job by default, but it's not what we need. If they want to get the fans back on side, which I don't think they ever will, but what the last thing they can do is appoint him, because if it goes wrong, he's going to be in the firing line, and it's just another failed appointment by this organisation. So no, we need a proper manager, and they won't put in a proper manager, but that's the only thing I think I see working at this football club now. But if we go and win the FA Cup, that's just something for them to turn around and say, oh, look, this is working. And that's the last thing I want, for it to sort of boost their ego. I'm not saying I want us to lose, because of course, like cup final days out, I'm like one of the best as a fan. But at the same time, I just know how they're going to play it. Like, it's like, we win the FA Cup. Oh, well, this is working then, isn't it? No, it's not. It never was. So like, you know what I mean? And it's just so, yeah, it's a bit of a shit.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it, bro? Double-edged sword, isn't it? Because the fans definitely want to win something, and you'll be happy. But the point you made is true, right? There were all those rumors about them saying, look at the project's working after you won the Club World Cup and you won the Conference League. Like they were like celebrating it like they've achieved something massively from a leadership perspective. So they'll definitely do it again if you win the FA Cup. guaranteed. So it's an awkward
Yeah.
position to be in.
But I think
At least
that's
you can
where
run
the
it back
fans.
with a parade.
I don't even think
You
anyone
and
will
Palace
turn
could have a parade in the only parades in
Um,
London kind of thing. Type beef.
Yeah, so I don't know if I think what the fans need to do, and obviously like the movement of the blue go out, not a Project FC. We just need to like keep like sort of
Bro, your internet's moving crazy today, I have to say.
His
Man's coming in and
Wi-Fi
out
doesn't
like-
want to hear about clearly.
yeah. This is definitely Rhys is definitely on infinite athlete Wi-Fi right now because they're cutting him out every 2 seconds. Every
They're
mention of
censoring you, bro.
Did you miss?
I hear-
Did you not hear that bit?
No.
Oh, God,
Man's struggling on the
Yeah.
infinite.
I just
They
basically
saw the hour-long
I
crash
just
and
said
said no.
basically like obviously just with the whole FA Cup thing. Not today.
Oh, bro, man's
I
on a
was
mad lag.
just
as
saying
well.
about
Hearing
obviously
5 minutes
like
ago.
we just got to carry on with the protests. I was just saying about the protests, and we just got to sort of carry on with it, and then get the message out.
Yeah, I think you, man. As soon as you got Strasbourg coming over the English Channel to come over and join you for a protest and doing all the vans and planes and all that kind of stuff, I think they can hear it, but it's just about whether or not. Remember, we're dealing with like American hedge fund dons. Their ego knows no bounds, bro. So if you even get into a final, they can find a way to make something of that. If you get Europa League football, or somehow you get sixth and Villa win the Europa League and you get bailed out with Champions League, these are all things that are possible that I think you should be happy about them in a way, but in another way, they hurt your chances of getting these scumbags out because they're going to use them as achievements, like you mentioned before. So it's a tricky one. You kind of need to do an NBA thing where you just tank it and 15th or something, or 12th or something like that, where you're definitely not going to achieve everything and have very clearly a poor season to have some impact with them. But I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if something like that will work. But let's move on from Chelsea while Rhys sorts out his internet, hopefully. Let's go on to Liverpool then, bro. Khem, big 3-1 win against Crystal Palace. It was a bit of a weird game, to be honest, because you went 1-0 up with a decent goal from Isak, which is one of those weird finishes where if he strikes it cleanly, he probably gets saved. But because he like hits it into the ground and it loops over Henderson, he's got absolutely no chance. And then the second goal was hilarious because I think it's Mateta misses like a crazy easy open header right at the goalie, and then you go right down the other side of the pitch. A great counter attack, nice pass from Wirtz, nice little slide pass from McAllister, who actually played semi-decent in this game for once this season, and Robertson tucks it away in the corner.
Good
and then
finish.
the real weird, very good finish, man. Robertson's decent though on counters. I feel like I've seen him score a couple of goals like that on the counter where he's tucked it away. But good finish from him. And then the weird goalkeeper stuff happens. Your goalie makes a save. He stays down on the ground. Munoz kind of hesitates for a bit and then just decides he's going to put it in the empty net, which is a great finish, to be honest, because he's like on the corner on the box with a couple man in front of him, but he manages to tuck it away. And you know what this reminded me of? I don't know if you remember it. I think we were playing Arsenal, like back in the Aubameyang days. And I think there's a corner comes in. De Gea gets stood on by, in the end, it was our own player, Fred.
Yes,
and then
I remember.
Smith Rowe like half volleys it in the empty net while De Gea's on the floor, and they give the goal. And like that, they gave the goal, man. I don't really like those kind of goals because if it's a goalie, I feel like you should drop ball it in this scenario.
I think the thing is he played on in the end, so it's like, well, if you're going to be like doing that, then just be injured properly. But also, I think the bigger issue I had was like, none of the players went back on the goal line.
Yeah, but that is a problem. But think about how rare that scenario is. Yeah, where you have a goalie down in the middle of a phase of play. It's so rare, man, to have that. Like, if a goalie goes down, maybe they go down with cramp. Like when the ball's far away from, on the other side of the pitch, or if they have an injury, it's like directly after a set play. And then naturally the referee stops play immediately. So I think the referee effed it. He should have stopped play immediately when he saw my man hurt himself, and just in the spirit of the game, just let it restart from a similar position afterwards. But
I think
obviously they chose not to.
Do you know what? I think because players do that so much nowadays, and it's kind of like cheating the game. I'm not like overly mad at the fact that they carried it on, because like people like Raya, for example, milk it all the time, and they're just apparently hurt, like they've been shot or something, and then suddenly they're completely fine and play the next 50 matches straight. But you wouldn't think that in the moment. I think they need to do something about like players going down to stop the game, to stop the other team's momentum, or when a team's literally in a dangerous position. So usually players will try to play on and then see the situation out, and ideally the ball's out of play, and then you can have the stop, especially considering he was able to finish the match. So like when Mamadashvili got injured literally the week before, I think, against Everton, he's got a nasty gash in his knee. The guy couldn't, I don't even remember if he was stretchered off or not, but it was disgusting. Like, he's genuinely hurt. Whereas Woodman was capable of playing on. So we see it all the time where a player's hobbling around, it's the last minute, their manager's shouting at them saying, get back, stop faffing around on the touchline. They hobble back, and before you know it, they run it off. So I'm not too mad at it. It was a crazy goal. My issue is more with just our players not just getting on with it, and especially no one going on the line. Like, I thought that was an instinctive thing. Like, maybe the art of defending really is dead, because usually you think, right, my keeper's out of position slightly, there's a chance here. Automatically, I think of players like Ashley Cole. He was a master at it, always getting on the line, clearing it off last minute, whatever. Neither Van Dijk or Kanat, and none of them had the nous to think, let me just potentially just stay on the goal line here. And I don't know if they're worrying about playing someone offside or whatever, but it is what it is.
I just think it's so rare, bro. I think normally if you look at other scenarios where that is like muscle memory, natural instinct, I think they would do it. But just because I know what you're saying about like the goalkeeper time wasting thing is a problem in football, or it's become more common. But you could clearly see that your keeper, I don't even know what his name is, had like it was an impact thing. Like, he came out to stop the ball, and you could see his like leg. You could see something happen.
It's like with goalkeepers sometimes. It's like the kickers or the punters in the NFL. They don't feel any contact whatsoever in training or in the game. So the slightest touch is a shock to them. But like, maybe we need the MMA fighter that what's their name brought in, or was it Chelsea or whatever? Maybe
Brighton.
I don't know, some shit like that. But like, just in general, the guy, it's not like he fell down straight away like a sack of potatoes. Like, he was sort of doing the dramatic like and stuff. Like, mate, just get back in goal, and then we'll fucking worry about it later, okay? And that just goes for all keepers and players that are just like play acting, man. Like, you were fine. The thing is that he played on. Do you know what I mean? If he got subbed, I'd be like, right, referee.
No, that was the weird thing. That was the weird thing. I have to admit, after that injury, because it looked like he done his knee, or he had like a mad. You know when someone has like a jolt when they place their foot. So I thought, okay, this keeper's finished. You're down to your fourth keeper now. It's going to be a madness for the last half an hour.
We're down another. So I just think, like, just in general, like, if it's just a problem I have with football right now. So it's made it quite boring as well, because it's just delaying the game all the time. Like, if you're genuinely hurt, go off. So like, I feel like they need to change something where if a player's fucking around and they're genuinely hurt, they need to go off for like 5 minutes, because then you're genuinely like, okay, that impacts your team, and you can't make you see either you make a sub or you can't. Like, something needs to change with that, because it's just bullshit now. But in terms of Isak, good finish. It was his only shot. So we're still not actually supplying the ball to him. We're not actually like creating stuff for him. So they need to work that out. in the summer on ways to help him. But he's still not playing 90 minutes yet, so it's more just getting him up to speed. I think he played 70, 75, so it's probably his most minutes that he's actually played for us this season. Robertson, great finish, another good performance from him as he ends his Liverpool career. And then a tidy goal from Wirtz. But yeah, to your point earlier, it was a weird game also because like they actually dominated us with the XG.
I love
But the
that.
scoreline was 3-1. So it's happened a lot in reverse to what Slot cries about nearly every week in terms of us dominating or controlling or whatever he wants to say. And then the other team, gets the result. But there's still underlying issues, which has always been there throughout the whole year. I think we were lucky with Palace being sort of sandwiched with their Conference League commitment, so maybe that helped us a little bit. One standout for me was we're heavily linked with Adam Morton, but he can't run, man. So I don't really know what we're doing here. Like he's just McAllister, but he can sort of ping it like a few more yards with the passing, but you can fucking run past him with ease. So, I wouldn't say no to having him. But it's quite a high price, typical when you buy from another English team. But it's the same kind of thing. So I look at him and I think, man, our out of possession won't change. So yeah, solid to get the points. Somehow we're fourth. Somehow we were near you, like tied on points for a couple of hours or a couple of days or whatever. So that was strange to see because we have 10 defeats. I don't know how we're in the top 4. Like this is when I said low ceilings, yeah. Look at us in the table, Rhys. Like you guys might finish 6th, and if Villa win Europa League, you might get Champions League. That's what I'm talking about. Fucking low ceilings this season in the Prem. So yeah, we'll take the points. We'll see what happens in the remaining games. I've bagged the ticket. I'm going to take my dad, go see the Brentford game, end of the season, say goodbye to Mo, and that's that.
That's the question I was going to ask you though, Khem, because I know Mo Salah came off with, they're saying, a suspected hamstring injury. There were worries about him being out and not being, that was his last game for Liverpool. But now I think it's come out that he should be back in time for the last couple of games, right? So do you actually think he will be there and get on the field against Brentford?
Yeah, those training clips these teams always do. He's already jogging, man. One of the good things about him, he's a pro, man. He's always in the gym. He's always staying fit. Like he takes care of his body so well. Like I think he's missed barely any games. It's up until this. This will be the most games he's missed this season because of injury. For the last 8 years, it's usually AFCON where he's missed fixtures or just being rested, perhaps. Like it couldn't be any more than 10 matches in 8 years that he's actually missed. So that's a credit to him. And he'll, even if he has to fucking limp on for like 2 minutes at the end, then we'll take it. I think the main thing is they want to protect him for the World Cup, because he also has that, because it might be his last World Cup. So you don't want to fuck yourself up for that because we have nothing to play for. So yeah, I'm sure he'll get some minutes at the end of the season.
I'll tell you what though, it would be absolutely hilarious if he's back on the bench and Slot just doesn't put him on. That will kill me. That will be so funny. It will be so harsh on Mo though, but it would be.
Could you imagine?
It would tell you a lot about their weird. Bro, he would lose his rag in the mix zone, didn't it? He'd go nuts in the mix zone.
I think if that was to ever be a situation, it's because the medical team and probably the Egyptian medical team have said, listen, mate, we need to give him some more time. Like I think it would be for a genuine reason in terms of recovery.
Yeah, but
bro, he's been our best player up front still. That's how bad we are. So they have to worry about that. That's another problem as well. We're shit without him still. So the whole plan was to move on for life without him. And so. Yeah,
but I think even if the Egyptian medical team are saying whatever, just roll him out on the pitch for 2 minutes. He doesn't have to run. Just put him like striker or whatever and just let him get that moment to come onto the field, get the applause, get a chance to walk around the pitch. You know what I mean? It's a sentimental thing.
He's more likely to randomly appear at Old Trafford tomorrow than not play the reign of the season, man. He likes playing, man. He's addicted.
Fucking curse of Mo Salah, man.
I've seen matches over the years where he'd be coming off in the 89th minute and he still looks vexed. Like he's just that kind of player. So
yeah, I hear it. But it was a big win, man, because I think your record against Palace was absolutely fucking abysmal before this. I think you lost the last 4 or 5 games against them. So to get a win, I know they have the Conference League and they rotated a little bit, and it was still a decent game. They gave you a decent game, and when they got that weird goal, it did get a bit strange until the last 5-10 minutes when you guys kind of saw it out. But no, it was a decent watch. All right, let's move on to. We'll do United, and we'll get us out of the way before we go on to Arsenal. Now that Rhys has joined, but yeah, we were Monday again. I think one of you, man, shared in a group chat the dirty stat about United not winning a game on Monday for like 2 years or something like that, which is wild considering we've played about, it feels like 5 or 6 games on a Monday this season so far. But we did get the dub in this one, 2-1 against Brentford. I think me and Razor got correct scores as well for the prediction league. So big up United for getting those points for us. But yeah, it was an interesting game, man. First 15 minutes, I thought we played really well. We had quite a few chances. Maguire had a header saved off the line. We had a few other chances. Casemiro ends up scoring with another header. I think he's got 9 Prem goals now, so he's right up there in terms of our goal scoring charts. And then I can't lie, man. Keith Andrews, he clocked whatever was going on the pitch that was an issue. And for the next 25, 30 minutes after in that half, Brentford were all over us. How they didn't score, God knows, man. Igor Thiago, I feel like there's got to be some sort of Paqueta thing going on with him, allegedly, because he was choosing not to score goals, man. He had so many one-on-ones with the goalie. He had like shots where it looked like it was easier to score than to miss. And somehow we were 1-0 up still with the last few minutes. And then great counter-attack, which Bruno sets up Sesko and he bags it to 2-0. And I honestly don't know how we were ahead in that at half time. The way Brentford were playing, they had so many chances and half chances, and their midfield kind of overran us. Even though I felt like Kobe had that great run as well, where Ahmad should have scored early on in the game as well. So crazy first half. Second half, Carrick does his best Amrim impression, brings on. Who did he bring on? He took off Ahmad and brought on Mazraoui, I think, and we went 5 at the back. And it did help us. Brentford didn't have as many chances. They got on the ball more, but they didn't have as many chances until late in the half. I think Ouattara missed one where maybe he should have done better, and then Jensen scores a great finish from outside the area. But 2-1, I feel like probably a draw was a fairer result, but Brentford just didn't have their finishing boots, and we did, man. So happy to just get the 3 points now. And I think with that 3 points, we're pretty much certain for top 4 now, or Champions League. I think we need, is it 1 more point or 1 more win to make sure that Brighton in 6th can't overtake us. So, yeah, happy to just get the win. It wasn't the greatest performance, but Casemiro did well. I think Sesko finished his chances, but you're talking about Isak not getting chances. Sesko barely got the ball, but when he did, he was tidy and the finish was good. And Bruno with another assist, man, 19 assists for the season. He's 1 away from equaling the record. I think he's going to do it now. 4 games left. He likes to turn up against Liverpool at Old Trafford most of the time. So hopefully he'll get an assist or 2 in that game. But nah, it wasn't the greatest performance. But Brentford, man. I feel like I still feel horrible for saying they're going to go down. But I feel like they need to get more flowers because they actually play decent football as well, man. It's not some hoof and run. I know they've got Coyote doing the long throws and it causes chaos there, but they actually play decent football, man. Damsgaard in midfield. Yeah, Damsgaard. Shut up. He didn't even play. Damsgaard in midfield played really well as well. So now they got a good team. I don't know if you, man, saw the game. It was Monday, so you probably did. Rhys, I'll come to you, bro. What did you make of the game? Do you think we got lucky in it?
I wouldn't say United got lucky. I think, despite it probably feeling like something I only ever say about Arsenal, I do say it a lot. Football is a game of fine margins. It's about finishing, and I think since the departure of he who will not be named, United have played like a more sort of like confident style of football. They've looked like they've got more of a purpose. And I think even some days you have great days and some days you have not so great days. And one of the things that, you know, we talk about with Rhys in the relegation fight in a title race or the battle for Europe is grinding out results when you didn't necessarily like weren't the clear like deserving winner, when you weren't clearly like the team that was like ahead for 90 minutes. And I think this was an example of United doing that. It was a good game to watch as a neutral. Absolutely fantastic goal. The Brentford goal, absolute belter.
Class.
Absolute belter. I was watching the game with a United fan and he just went,
fair play, man.
Yeah, and I think that's football, isn't it? Like, I think that's like football at its best. Like, when something's so good that even if it happens against your team, you're like, fair enough. But yeah, good result. I think, Brentford were unlucky, but I think like in the overall balance of their season, they've probably nicked a couple of games that like they didn't necessarily have all the right to be getting points in. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, you win some, you lose some, and Brentford lost this one. But overall a good game of football. If you guys keep playing like that, they might let you play on the weekends again.
Bro, I need to see us play on you know what I'm craving for? 3 p.m. blackout fixture United. That's what I really want, man. I want old school traditional, man. I don't want to be able to see it on Sky or nowhere. I want to, you know, find alternative means to watch a game. Having these Monday night 8 p.m. kickoffs is driving me nuts, man. Because there's just all the
pressure.
Bro, it's just everyone's having their fixtures. Even the Friday night kickoff when they do that every now and again is better because at least you get to see your team play first. You get opportunity to like get it out the way, especially if you got a home fixture. You hopefully can, you know, walk into the weekend with a bounce in your step. But yeah, Mondays just, if you lose one of them, remember when we lost 10-man Everton on a Monday? Bro, that week was fucking diabolical for me afterwards. It was a terrible work week. So now I hear it. Brentford, yeah, they're a decent team, man. It'll be interesting to see what happens to their team in the summer because obviously they've been a bit of a selling club in the last few years, and I imagine they'll have people queuing up for, even though Thiago had a fucking stinker in this one, they'll have people queuing up for Thiago, Coyote, quite a few of their players. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Rhys, what did you make of the game, bro?
Pretty much I do think United had some chances in the first half, but when Brentford came into it. But I think now it's just about sort of grinding out results and sort of, I guess it doesn't matter as long as you get it over the line. And I think that's what Carrick did when he kind of sort of changed the formation and just wanted to just sort of survive that half. But props to United because it just looks like their resilience has improved a lot in terms of when they come under fire, they can kind of stick together. Obviously, they still do have blips, I guess, with Leeds and stuff. They probably shouldn't have lost that. No, I think if you get it over the line, then I wouldn't worry about performances now. I think we've got 3-4 games left, and you've sort of sewed up top 4. So, it's just like Ray said, fine margins, to be honest. Do you think Carrick will get the job?
Yeah, this is the thing I was gonna move to next. So, I saw some articles saying that Iriola is Carrick's biggest contender for the job, or it's going to be between one of them two. And I can't lie to you, lads. I'm happy with either of those choices going into next season. You know how much I love Spanish Antony. I'm always chatting about him in the group chat. I'd love to have him at our club. I do worry a little bit because I saw some interview from Semenyo this last couple of weeks, I think, where he was talking about working for Iriola and how difficult it is to play his football. And there are things that make me worry because we've got some of the same cultural issues in our squad that you have, Rhys, at Chelsea, where sometimes they decide they don't want to do certain things for certain managers. So unless we go and get the right profiles, especially in midfield, where I guess playing for a high pressing man-to-man system team like Iriola is going to try and do, if we were still going to have Casemiro and Kobe in midfield, I don't know if they'd be able to pull off that kind of football. But if we were to refresh the midfield and get some people in who are more physical, are more athletic, that are able to actually cope with that, then I think it could work. So I think it really depends on what the recruitment looks like. I'd be happy with either, man. But you like we talked about it with McFarlane, Carrick's done well. I think he's 9 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses in 13 games. That's not bad at all. He's got more wins already than Amrim had. And I think Amrim had like 7 or 8 games more. So you know what? He who shall not be named has been named. He's fucking shit, mate. So
it does seem like they're playing him a lot more than obviously what they did the previous manager. So it does seem like he has the respect there from the players.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I'm happy. I'll be happy with Carrick or with Iriola. I think Carrick's got a couple of things in his favour. I think the fact he's played for United, he's one of our best midfielders we had in a very successful period. I feel like his character, he's quite laid back. He's not going to be like super passionate and emotional in front of the players like Amrim was. And then I think I just feel like his backroom staff that he surrounded himself with a bit has been quite smart as well. Because that was one of the things they were cussing Amrim about. They had that geezer that looked like he weighed the same amount that I did on his backroom staff trying to support him. They had another guy who was, I think, younger than some of the players. Like that's not a backroom staff because we think of the manager doing everything, but the truth is, it's also about the coaches that he surrounds himself with who do a lot of the stuff and a lot of the work with the team on the grass. And we've got Steve Holland, we've got Woodgate, Evans, we've got a few players around that know the club or know high-level football or very experienced around him. So I think Carrick's team would be a good decision if they choose to go for him. But if we did want to look to the market, I'd be happy with Iriola. But I think there's probably slightly more concerns with him than with Carrick because he's never managed a big club. It could go left like Thomas Frank did at Tottenham. It could go left like Amrim did at United. It could go left like so many, Ten Hag even, up and coming managers who've not performed at a top club. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. But I'm happy with those options, man. I wouldn't walk into the season with either one of them livid. I'd be very happy with either one. So let's see who they choose. My inkling is they're going to go for Carrick. So I think this Iriola stuff is all smoke and mirrors, really. Or, in a recruitment process at work where they already know they want an internal hire for the role, but they have to open it up to the market, get one candidate in to try and compare. That's kind of how it feels like with Iriola, man. So let's see how it goes. But I'd be happy with either of them, to be fair. Khem, you always complain about not being asked about United. So what did you make of the game, bro? And do you think Carrick would be a decent manager for us to choose?
I hope by Monday you change your tone on Carrick because we've slapped you at Old Trafford and then you'll be saying, bring me Antony. Yeah, you finally won on Monday. Good result for you. Casamigo's farewell tour has gone well for you guys.
Triple platinum, man.
Yeah, he's killing it, man. And yeah, no, Carrick's done a good job. Like, he's come into a place that's really been tumultuous for a long time, and like you said, he's won more games in less time than Amorim. So, full credit to him. I feel like you would still go with Iriola, if I'm honest. I feel like the class of '92 guys will say a few things again, especially if Bournemouth have a nice close out to the season, and clearly they're the powers that be at Man United, and then you'll go for it because Iriola, you won't have to pay to get him in early, which you've done for a lot of your managers in the past, as well as paying them out early. So you can get him in, let him watch the World Cup, do a bit of scouting, and then have your pre-season, wherever that may be, probably not Saudi. So, yeah.
Scandinavia.
Somewhere close to home, Cheshire. But yeah, so... Yeah, hate seeing you guys win, obviously, as you would do in reverse. It brings so much pain. But Bruno, fair play to him. You did call it early. Has it been ethical? No. But if there's another thing to take from that club in London, then take another thing from them. You know what I mean? Let's keep taking chains, bruv. So fuck a minute. Like, if it adds to the misery, keep believing. You know what I mean? Just wait. So yeah, go on, Bruno. Maybe not against us, but go get it done, son. Go on. Get 21, 22. Put a bit of a gap.
You know what? I think. Go on, Rhys.
No, I was just gonna say I see like on it was on Talksport, but I just like it was an interesting point. Adrian Durham just said how his sort of assist record doesn't. It's kind of a bit fugazi just because of the fact they've only played like 38 games this season, and they haven't had to Bruno hasn't had to overwork himself like a Rhys or I don't know. Even they were saying Nico O'Reilly played more games than Bruno Fernandes. So, I was just saying they were kind of throwing shade on that. I just wondered, like, do you? Yeah, but
let's be honest. As good as those players are, none of those players are realistically gonna threaten the assist record. Like, I hear it in terms of a fatigue thing.
Yeah, like, that's what he was kind of saying. Just like,
but let's be real. Like, Bruno's had seasons where his output's been absolutely crazy, while playing a lot of games. So he's one of them, like Salah in a way, where his availability is one of his biggest strengths as well. Like, he barely misses any games. So I don't know. I think the set piece thing swings and roundabouts because everyone's been killing Arsenal for the set piece goal thing. I knew that for the assist record, Bruno was going to get the same grilling and people saying it's unethical or whatever, like Khem or whatever. But it is what it is, man.
Do you know what? I take it back. Do you know why? Because certain teams obviously live for corners and they could have got the same tally as Bruno. So Bruno got it done, innit? So fair play to him.
Bro, it's about looking at you. You made a good point earlier, Khem, right? It was a rare one from you, but you made a good point when you were talking about the underlying numbers for the performance, right, with Crystal Palace against Crystal Palace. And if you look at Bruno's underlying numbers, that's why I don't get stressed when people like try and come for it, the record, and say whatever. Because if you look at his underlying numbers for everything, he's performed like a player that could break that record, regardless of whether it comes from set pieces or open play chances. Everything he's created like almost double than everyone in every single category. And all the expected assists, whether you want to throw that out and say it's bollocks, which I do agree with, is almost high enough to reach that level of assists. So it's not like when people were talking about Mbeumo last season, they said he overperformed his XG crazily and it would never translate the same way, which has been proven true, right? He scored like less than half the goals he did at Brentford. But with Bruno, even for stuff like that, it's fairly consistently high. But I do think the fatigue thing is probably true. Like, let's be real. We've played, 40 games this season? Is a diabolical amount. And Bruno's actually missed a few of them because he did get one injury after, I think it was Villa. So I think he missed 2 games. So he's played 38 games in a season, which is not that much. But ultimately, it's just what I'm not that big on these records. It's a nice little thing for him. But the fact that he has to look at this record is an indictment of our club, because he should be thinking about lifting big trophies and not worrying about breaking a fucking assist record when we finish third. But that's where we are, and at least he's got some flowers this season from people that kind of dislike him because of the petulance and whatever else. I think he kind of deserves that because he's a good player, man. So
when the record was set, I think the team came second or third anyway. So it is what it is, man.
Yeah, but the De Bruyne one, I'm pretty sure they won the league when they got the 20, right? Was it? Or did they finish second as well?
I don't even know.
I'm sure Henry's one, they won the league as well. I'm sure Henry's.
Yeah, because Henry's one was a double 20, wasn't it? It was a 20 goals, 20 assists league season.
2003, wasn't it 2003?
Unbeaten season, I think. Was it?
I don't think it was. I think pretty sure it was 03.
Can we move on?
Either way, crazy. Yeah, let's move. Nice segue from Henry to the Arsenal segment. 2 games this week. Only team on the pod that had 2 games. Champions League semi-final first leg. And a really, that was a nervy game against Newcastle as well. 1-0 in the Prem on the weekend. Reza, let's start with the Newcastle game first. You were there, yeah? What did you make of the game? And Was it as nervy in a stadium as it was watching?
I don't think I've watched Arsenal at any point in time in the past 4 or 5 years, and it hasn't been an entirely nerve-wracking experience. That is what you buy into when you buy one of the jerseys, silly little scarves, your red membership, whatever it is. Heart Attack Central, that's what we call it. Cardiac Arrest Island, that's where we play. It wasn't really that nervy by Arsenal standards, I'm going to be honest. Like, it was given nice day out in the stands. People were a little bit like, get on with it, move the ball, don't pass it backwards. Odegaard, but like, that's just, how people are. Like, it wasn't, I don't know, like, I think a lot gets made of the nerves. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be fans that are like, oh my God, this is stressful. Oh my God, this is stressful. But we're in the title run, and like, we're in it to win it in the 2 biggest tournaments that we're playing in. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be stressful to that extent. I don't think it was like that nervy. I feel like we looked better than we have looked in recent times. But yeah, it's just about like getting out of the blocks, not playing like stodgy conservative football. And then I think that energy in the stadium as well, like when the guys look a bit lost on the pitch, we start playing, the fans kind of receive that energy and like play that energy back to them. And then that's when things get a bit like nervy. But overall, I think like it's a calm game of football. I don't think we've turned up many times this season and beat teams like by 3 or 4 goals. Do you know what I mean? So it's literally what we sing, 1-0 to the Arsenal. And we take those. I feel like it feels nervy when you look at the scoreline, because Arsenal fans are anxious generally. Do you know what I mean? Like, but in terms of as our fixtures have gone this season, I don't think it was that nervy, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Newcastle had loads of the ball, and that Visser chance, I think, was the only one that stands out to me where he should have scored. Like, Visser's been an absolute diabolical signing for them, by the way. 55 million, and he's absolutely shut the bed. But yeah, I mean, the finish from Eze things, man. Long range, side netting, great goal. But yeah, I think that tells you though how, if this game wasn't that nervy, which I agree with you, I think if you were there, probably it was less nervy than it felt like watching it on TV. That just tells you kind of like how the performances have been before this, because it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't like unreal football, but it was definitely a bit more fluent, a bit better than kind of some of the recent games. But I think it definitely improved in midweek against Atletico, right? I think that was actually a really solid performance, comparatively speaking. This Newcastle one, just get the 3 points and keep moving.
And I think that's been the bag. That's been the agenda at certain points in this season. And, that's what we've done, especially in the Champions League, like undefeated, second leg of the semi-finals coming up. It's really, I think it's obviously, I get it. Like, it's fun for people to be like, oh, Arsenal. Some of their teams aren't playing a lot of football, or only playing on Mondays or whatever else. Do you know what I mean? They need to have something to their raison d'etre, their wake up in the morning thing, the motivation. And I get it. For them, it's us. We're absolutely fucking massive. I get it. But yeah, it's really like business as usual. I think as well, like the other semi-final was always going to be a hoop sesh. And I think that was always going to further people's agenda about it. But I wasn't like surprised by the kind of game that we had against Atleti. I feel like it was, it was tight. It was, there were chances at either end. Some questionable decisions from a refereeing perspective. But do you know what? With the handballs in that game, they make me sick. They make my stomach backflip. But we saw one given, I think it was against Marino in the quarterfinals, maybe like the end of the group stages last season, where it literally like came off like the player in front of him, or came off him and like into his hand, and they gave it. We just know that that's how they officiate in the Champions League. They gave one on Tuesday night. They gave one on Wednesday night. What do you want me to do? at least it's kind of consistent. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like it, but it is what it is. I personally think the Eze penalty shout was a penalty. I personally don't think there was a clear and obvious error for the referee to be sent to the monitor. But I also am in a toxic, traumatic relationship with Arsenal Football Club. So, you know, like, how valid is my bias and opinion over here? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for me, clear and obvious error should be like, like, mate, you've just given a penalty and he actually didn't touch him. Like, he stepped on his foot in the box. I don't understand what the role is of VAR there in that sense, but can't complain. You know what I mean? Like, lots of clubs go to the Metropolitano and leave with nothing. Like, Atletico are a really good side. They're really well drilled. They're really disciplined. And somebody said it in the group chat, but like, they were like, oh, they've taken the Nepo baby off and they're playing serious football now. And it's like, yeah, they've got ballers. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be like it has been at certain other points in the competition where we've been like, right, you know, even with Sporting, we were like, got the draw, going back to the carpet, calm, like, that's job done. Like, I don't feel like the job is done. I feel like we need to be on our toes. We need to be awake. Atleti are a team, one of the teams that are left in the competition that probably want this, need this, yearn for this as much as we do, like, in order of like validating themselves and like feeling like they can scale this insurmountable task that's been plaguing them or whatever. So yeah, I feel like they're going to turn up in the second leg and we should expect them to turn up. But overall, relatively happy with the performances. Good to start seeing like players like Saka on the bench coming back on the field and stuff, and like across like 2 games and that. And yeah, I just hope that we can keep relatively injury free in this like sort of key period for the rest of the season. But yeah, like I said, I could complain. Why bother? It's what most of the Arsenal fans do. 25-8. Lana's not here. He's watching. Shout out you. Say something nice for once. Where else did we want to be? Do you know what I mean? It's a couple of weeks left of the season, in it to win it. You got to be in it to win it. Where else do we want to be? So yeah, man, roll on Fulham.
Yeah, high stakes, man. High stakes. Every game now means so much. But yeah, that Atleti game was a mad one. I saw some stats because obviously we were all going mad in the group chat after the PSG Bayern game. Obviously 5-4 was mental. I saw some stats that actually there were more shots on target in Atletico Arsenal than they were in PSG against Bayern. The difference was just that the finishing in that PSG Bayern game was absolutely mad. Nearly every single chance or half chance felt like they buried it. And you saw in the Arsenal Atleti game, especially from Atleti's side, I feel like the Arsenal side, maybe the Odegaard chance early on when Gyokeres does that really good run up the channel and sets him up, maybe he should do better. But otherwise, it was mostly Atletico kind of missing their chances. Lookman missed a gilt-edged chance to make it 2-1 in that second half. I think Griezmann hit the bar. Gabriel makes a massive block from Griezmann as well in that second half. So there were quite a lot of shots on target or heading on target that were quite wastefully taken in that game, but it was still an interesting watch. The referees, to your point, before I throw over to Khem, that handball in the PSG game, disgrace, never a handball. Man's put his arms behind his back, and then naturally, because he has to move, it looks like it's about 5 centimeters away from his body, and Dembele like absolutely leathers it into his arm. That's never a pen. Even for the weird UEFA style of giving pens, that is a diabolical decision. The one against Ben White, I knew they were going to give that because that's the stereotypical UEFA one that they always do, where it's like the arm is slightly a bit further out, but it's still kind of not in an unnatural position, but they're going to give it. Dallo had one against PSG when we did the remontada against them, which was kind of similar from Kimpembe. You knew they were going to give it. The Eze one is just weird because he definitely buys it, but it is a pen in terms of they've given it, and you just go with the decision. If he didn't give it, you'd probably just go with the decision as well. it wasn't one where you needed an intervention from my perspective to change a decision. It just is one or the other, and you go with it. And yeah, the comms lot were going mad about Diego Simeone influencing it, and maybe he did. The cameras never really panned him, so there's no real evidence, right? But you can imagine he was going nuts. But yeah, it was a crazy game. Less goals, obviously, than the PSG one, but loads of incident. Khem, what did you make of the two Arsenal games, the Newcastle game and the Atleti one? Obviously, positive results for them, right?
Oh, big time! Like, if you wanted to start the season and ask an Arsenal fan, you would be 3 points clear, potentially 6 after today, and in a Champions League semi-final with a second leg at home after drawing the first leg. And you're now in May, and that's your situation. They'd fucking take that 100%. They'd be like, "Wow, this is a great season." So, definitely, I think there's a lot of stress that goes on with that team because they've not succeeded in a very long time. That's why they're feeling the pinch with everything. The Newcastle game, Razor said it didn't feel nervous in the stands. So I have to take his word for it. Maybe his end, or maybe they were just too drunk to even know what was going on. But I think more so because Newcastle are quite shit. Like Newcastle are pretty bad this season. Let's be real. So I feel like the expectation would have been to deal with the match a bit better. Now, definitely, you get games like this at the back end of a season where you just need to get the points, and it's not going right, and it is a crazy 1-0 or a 2-1. Like, I think we had it last year with West Ham. Like, you get these kind of games. It's just more so like they are shit. Like, they're really bad. They're not even starting Mike Will made it anymore. And I don't think he's played up front in months. They moved him to midfield. Like, Wissa coming off the bench and having that miss, like, they should just, god awful, that team. And Eddie Howe's on his way out, it seems. So it's more like the opponent you should be taking care of them. You should looking at them like a West Ham or a Spurs kind of thing. But at the end of the day, they got the dub. And that's all they needed, right? The pressure was back on them, and they responded. So it's over to you, Pep Bennett. So fair enough. And then for the Champions League, Atletico Madrid at home, considering they've probably been resting a lot of their players as well, Simeone would have got them coked up, allegedly, ready for this match, all sorts, right? So they're a difficult team. So to come away with a 1-1 to go to the Emirates, they'd be glad with that. And I actually think it was a penalty for Eze as well, to be honest. I was shocked. But because they, chucked themselves to the ground a couple of matches beforehand, I guess that's also swings and roundabouts, like when Madawuki just fell over for no reason one of their games. So it is what it is. But I do think it was a pen. I was surprised it wasn't given. I was glad it wasn't given, but it probably should have been given. So kudos. And I think that you'll take care of them in the second leg, because they really should have come away with a win. For Atletico to come through this tie, they needed to win the first leg and maybe keep the margin in their eyes, maybe by a couple of goals. I honestly think Simeone still thinks the away goals rule is like around the way this team come out, because like, fucking hell, man, they should have sorted that one out. Like, I feel like he thinks, let's go back to Emirates and get like a 2-2 and we'll go through, like, after extra time. I think he's forgotten that that's not a thing no more. I don't know what's up with him. And Alvarez looks injured, isn't he? So that's probably an additional advantage to the Gunners. So I think they played really well in Spain, considering the circumstances following the Newcastle game as well. Like, having to go from one tough match, physically certainly and emotionally, we have to throw that in, to this one. So they've done a good job. To follow on from when you were talking about, like, obviously we're laughing at that match because we're calling it Harambal because of the game the day before, etc. But even if Arsenal were playing like more expansive, a bit more exciting, etc., it still would have been an ugly game, because that's how Atleti play. So I think they done well to just. I think they managed the game well. I think they managed the game. No, Atletico always make the game dog shit. They make the game ugly.
I know.
That's by design.
Yeah, but you're saying that. But if you look at their game, the big games they've had this season against Barca, especially in both Champions League games and the Copa del Rey games, and some of them in the league, they actually don't try and make it that way. They actually just try and, like, they were way more attacking than I've seen Atleti games before in previous years when they were really playing a
Yeah,
ramble.
but they always do
Like
that in
they,
bursts though. They'll always like start the game off hot, and then they'll start the second half hot, and then or if they have to chase the game, they always go in waves. Like if they're a goal down, they'll suddenly attack again. They can't sustain it though. That's the thing. They always go back to their usual ways of like, all right, let's make this kind of cagey. Like they can't sustain, I'd say, even a half an hour to an hour period of like playing like expansive football. They sort of do it in like a 10-minute spell, like 15, like where they'll, I don't know, juice up and then go again. So
I don't think either of you are wrong, to be honest. I think
Go for it, mate.
what Kim's talking about, I've kind of noticed with maybe not like the big 3 or 4 clubs from like the other European leagues in terms of like, your Bayern, your PSG, the 2 in Spain, like they've got like, obviously they've got like depth in the squad, and like there's been a lot of discourse about how they're able to rest and rotate players for their league matches. So we won't go into that again. But I think the intensity, I think the fact that like the level of intensity, especially the Premier League and English teams come to these kind of fixtures with, is really difficult for a team like Athletic. I don't think they do it in La Liga for them to play like
not regularly, yeah,
half an hour, like 45 minutes, like intense football. But then I also think the flip side of it is styles make fights. Like we've seen that Bayern side, for example, that's like been popping everyone and just like slapping goals left, right, and center. We've seen them get held to like very few, like a very quiet night against Arsenal. But that's in terms of the way that they set up and the way that we set up. If we were to meet them in like a final setting, I don't think they're going to set up like that. I don't think we're going to be given the space to play like that. Do you know what I mean? Similar thing to the City fixture. They turned up at the Carling, formerly known as Coca-Cola Energy Drink Cup, whatever, and like whooped us off the park. Like, okay, cool. They still got a result. They still scored the same amount of goals in the Premier League fixture, but it was a completely different setup in terms of how the two teams went about it. And I think that's what is key when we look at these things. And I think one of the things when people have been talking about like the hoop sesh versus Harambe is that we're almost guaranteed in our final of the Champions League to see a team that is basically all out, like it's all like forward, like they've got it going forward, versus a team that is probably more comfortable going backwards and sideways than going forward. And you're like relying on a star bit of quality, whether it's Eze or Lookman, whether it's like Saka or Grease, like you're looking at a bit of that one player or 2 players up top to kind of create something, as opposed to the other teams on the other side of the draw, where the entirety of their front 4 or 5, you expect magic from them. And I think that sets up an interesting thing for the final. But I obviously understand that from like a neutral perspective, people want to watch a 9-goal thriller. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to watch a KG 1-1 draw. But let's be honest, yeah, like if Arsenal played in a 5-4 fucking shootout,
you'd lose your mind.
The headlines wouldn't be about flipping how exciting was that game, how entertaining was that game. They'd be like, what Gabriel and Saliba doing? They said Raya was the best keeper in the league. Cool, man.
But the thing is, Razor, I'll throw it at you. I actually think PSG and Bayern played that way because they were playing each other. Like, when you see the two of them play other teams, especially if they're playing English teams, they'll play slightly differently. They're not going to
try play that football against like Aston Villa or Newcastle. Man are getting headlocked. Man are getting dragged.
Yeah, but they went into that semi-final knowing that our opponent is as deadly as we are attacking.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go machine for machine and just go and try and kill them off. Like, and we're at 5-2. PSG were probably looking and saying, you know what, this has paid off. But then, they got proven wrong because Bayern just scored 2 dirty goals afterwards.
Bayern, the 2 baddies stood by the bar and they can see a pro baller also in the function. They want to get invited to the box, but they're not having they're not debating and discussing and going back and forth about who gets to chat to the who first. Nah, they just said, we're going to be leng and see who gets approached first. It's a straight shootout. And obviously it's very entertaining for people. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, whose aura is stronger? But yeah, I don't think either of those teams are going to be able to turn up against whoever is on our side of the draw in the final like that. I don't think it's going to work out well for them.
I think it depends, bro, because I think if Atleti get through, I can see either one of the other teams smacking them the way that PSG smacked Inter last year. I can see it happening.
I think so.
But if Arsenal get through, I think it will be a much tighter game. And obviously, I would still favour the two teams that have got the firepower up front, because in a cup competition, I think that kind of outweighs the defensive stuff in a lot of scenarios, especially in a one-off final. But I think it will be a lot closer. It will be a lot of a closer game, because they'll respect you. I tell you what, they'll respect you more than they respect Atleti. They respect you more than they respect Atleti. They will pop Atleti if they play them. I'm telling you right now. Because Atleti's defense is not all that, man. If you had a proper attack, I reckon even in that game, you would have won it comfortably, probably.
Yeah, they're not that solid, man.
Nah.
I think
their attack's probably their best part. Their attack's probably like Alvarez is. Yeah, I think. But who knows, man? I think we'll move to the second leg preview now. Get out of the way before we do the predictions and stuff. I don't know how much of an advantage the second leg at the Emirates is against a team like Atleti. I think they're gonna play it the same way they kind of did in their stadium and just shithouse it, like they've done against Liverpool at Anfield, like they've done it in
different away from home, man.
Old Trafford.
Let's assume Alvarez is fit.
He'll be fit, bro. They'll do something to get him in.
They'll send him to them doctors, yeah. But right now, it's not looking amazing for him. He'll be half fit at best. So there's no away goals, like I said about earlier. So I think the advantage is Arsenal's, man. They'll be carrying that momentum. Like Rhys said, they've not lost in the Champions League in a long while. So I think they've got more firepower. They just play weird because of the manager. But overall, they're a better team than Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid, I don't really know how they've got this far, but fair enough, they did. And I think Barca just didn't respect them, to be honest. Rafinha was out. Yamal's got hamstring injuries, probably overworked them with the dwarves and stuff. So, like, we'll see how they just didn't take it seriously, and they deserved what they got.
Allegedly.
And they also got dumb red cards in both matches as well. Barcelona was so unserious. And I think they got a dodgy goal. Sorry, they got a goal. Actually, no, it was correctly ruled out. It was offside in the end, but it was a bit controversial at the time. So here we are. Arsenal will make it through. They're the better team. They're at home. The crowd will go nuts. If they they might even bring an actual tifo this time compared to last year. So, you know, they'll do their thing, and I think they'll go through. Simeone he needed an advantage going into this match. He needed like a slender lead, whether it be 2-1, 3-2, 1-0, something like that. He's worked his magic over the years via away goals, to be honest, when he's made it to the Champions League finals before, utilising that quite well. That doesn't help him now. And like we said, they don't have the depth like Arsenal do in terms of like players, profile, and good players as well to come on. So if it goes to extra time as well, I think Arteta has more to use to get through, man.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, man. I'm less confident in the home advantage, especially just because, you know what, if this was early in the season, like Arsenal did against Atleti and Bayern early in the season, I could see them comfortably winning it at home. But because they're in this mode in the Premier League where they're just going for results and everything's such fine margins, I really think in this game it's going to be, if they do win, it'll be a 1-0 or a 2-1. And it could equally be a draw in this home leg as well and go into extra time. And I'll tell you what, if it goes to extra time, that's actually when I do think Atleti will have a bit of an advantage, because they've been in these kind of close ties so many times going into extra time. Simeone and the shithousery is going to come out. I actually think they've got a decent bench when it comes to attacking changes. Like, imagine bringing Sorloth on for the last half an hour, 45 minutes of the game. Once Gabriel and Saliba are knackered from having to marshal Alvarez and all that, I think they've got a good chance if it goes deep, in the game and goes to extra time. But if Arsenal are 1-0 up, 2-1 up, I think that's when they'll be able to shut up shop and
I
get
don't know,
the
man.
dub.
Sorloth is someone you want to bring out if you're fighting in Game of Thrones or something, man. That's not a very exciting fucking like
Bro,
opponent
if you
for
look at
those
his
guys,
record
man.
against you're underrating him, bro. I don't rate him massively, but in like if you've been watching Atleti's big clutch games, like I mentioned against Real Madrid, Barcelona in the cup and in the league and in the Champions League, Sorloth has scored a crazy amount of goals off the bench against them, critical goals that have helped them get through. So I hear you. He's not Haaland, if you're going to take it down that Scandi route or Norwegian route. He's definitely not that. But he comes up with important goals, especially on the counter attack for a big unit. He's actually able to impact games. So I don't know, man. I think if Arsenal do have an advantage, it's a very slender one. I don't think it's a massive advantage going into this game. The fact they're at home in the second leg.
Who do you think out of the other tie?
PSG Bayern. That's going to be fun, man. But I think PSG are just going to nick it. Because I don't know if you saw that Bayern. Obviously, you saw it because you were moaning at me for watching the Arsenal game. The Bayern Real Madrid game as well. That went crazy in Munich. But remember, Real Madrid were up in that game like 3 or 4 times. I know they've got Mbappe and they played counter-attacking or whatever, but
Mbappe missed a lot of chances that day.
He missed chances, and Vinny was wasteful as he normally is as well on the counter. But if you give them chances to KK or to Dembele or to Doué, Barcola, even like fuck it, even Kang In Lee and fucking the other Ramos geezer, like they're way more clinical. And it just feels like if you give them a half chance or a decent chance, they're going to tuck it away. And the thing is, I slightly rate PSG's defense more than Bayern's. Upamecano's,
he's rubbish.
Bozo Gene.
I think Bayern. You know, I feel like considering their manager was not available, and PSG were up 5-2. I think they'll regret that. Because I think they'll look back on that and think, fucking hell, we blew that one. I think Bayern at home, they've already won their league as well. Have Paris actually...
PSG won it,
their matches moved around and stuff. They're actually going to have to care a little bit about League Earn in the next couple of weeks. They do. They're going to need to win it. They still have to win it. Like, they're going to have to try a little bit.
They're 6 points clear, so they haven't wrapped it up like Bayern have. But I think if they win their game at the weekend...
That's what I mean. They have to care. Like the last few weeks, they've had shit rescheduled and stuff ahead of all their, Liverpool tie, this tie. Now they've got
Lorient. Bro, they've got Lorient at home today, and they've got 4 days to rest. They're blessed, bro. I don't know what you're trying to force this narrative. They're 6 points clear of Lens.
Bayern don't have to care though. Bayern don't have to give a damn about their fixture. That's what I'm saying. And they're at home, so they can go to freaking Shampoo L'Oreal or whatever. They still have to try and get the points. Whereas Bayern are resting, they're fully resting, and they're analysing the game. Like they're not analysing whoever they got this weekend. They're analysing PSG at home. So I think they might take it.
Bro, they've got Heidenheim, so yeah. And I'm looking at the predicted lineup. I don't recognise any of these dons, so fair enough. Bayern are definitely gonna come into that game fresh. Reza, what's your prediction for the Arsenal second leg? Because we've chatted through it. Do you think you've got an advantage or not?
I think we've got a bit of an advantage, but I agree it's not like a home advantage second leg. It's level. You're like up there, 1 foot in the final kind of thing. I think that would be a naive way to approach the game for like a lot of the points that reasons and points that you guys are making about like Atleti and the way that they approach playing from away from home, but then also just in terms of like the nervousness in this Arsenal squad and the anxiety that can come in. So I think it will be a game. But yeah, I do expect is a really scary word there. I do feel like we've got like the edge there. I think also like psychologically, we've got a couple of players who know what it's like to have beaten a team earlier in the season and like feel like that you can win against them and then not be able to do that over 2 legs. So I think a bit of make sure energy is going to come in. And I also hope we've got to see how today's fixture goes. But I also hope that like we have some of the players that we didn't have available. Because when you were saying that we could have like maybe buried off the game, I think you get 75 minutes of Saka, and other like different bits and pieces coming back into fruition. Like hopefully it's there, but yeah, tentatively saying I reckon PSG Arsenal final.
Yeah. That's what I think. That's probably what happens. That's what I think in the two semis. But yeah, no. By the way, we didn't talk about it, but quickly before we move on, Arteta went bold with the triple sub. By the way, I was shocked when he did the triple sub. I don't know what he was doing with Jesus. That was a bit of a mad one because I actually have to give props to Gyokeres in that game. I thought that was one of his best performances he's had for Arsenal. He held up the ball well. He won that penalty with some really wily play, getting in front of the defender. That Hanko guy was moving crazy. He was like a 2 left feet bozo in defence. He was just all the stupid moments that Atleti had came from him. But I thought Gyokeres was top, and he didn't look like he was struggling physically. So that was a bit of a weird one to bring Jesus on. But yeah, Trossard came on. I thought he was diabolical when he came on. He lost the ball nearly every single time he had it. Saka helped win that pen that got overturned, but he looked a bit rusty as well. But at least it's going for the triple sub. I thought was quite bold and un-Arteta-like, which I thought boded well for some of these other games where you might need to roll the dice. It looks like he's finally found his dice and he's ready to roll them.
I get on Saka a lot, yeah, but there was one moment where he came on, he sent someone to the shops, man. I think Atletico, I think you'll win, like, when I say comfortable, I mean like the current Arsenal comfortable of like 2-0 and just make it kind of just kill the clock kind of shit. Because the way it's, like you said, their defenders have enough bozo in them anyway. Like, even if Arsenal are struggling, Atletico will find a way to give them chances and they'll capitalise, man. Sure.
So yeah, Io's jumped in and said there's no home advantage for us. So he's been the usual positive stuff that he normally is.
I was into the Emirates once in like 4 years, and it was to watch us against Wigan, like in the FA Cup earlier this season. Like there is a home advantage. Like the Emirates is a good atmosphere. The players respond to it. We play better there. There is a home advantage. It's just not as significant as, I don't know, like maybe when we played like Sporting or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like the constant, what Khem said, mate, is actually real though. Like, what more do the man then want? If you said, at the start of May, you're going to be in 2 competitions, you have to pick which 2 are they? Which 2 would the Arsenal fans pick?
You're definitely picking this. You're picking 3 points ahead and 1-1 draw first leg, second leg at home. You're snapping hands off if you got that offered at the beginning of the season.
Bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, undefeated in the Champions League. Just won the group stage, decided to draw that we were on. Like, I don't know what, like, it's almost like brothers want us to win without playing football. They want it to be easy. You know, man, them that complete like everything on like manager mode, yeah, but it's on amateur. Like, that's what they want football to be like for us, innit? And it's just not that, innit? Like, it's the Champions League. There's a reason we haven't won it before, bro. We've had great Arsenal teams. It's difficult. It's hard. It's crazy after some of your previous utterances.
I know. I've had a tough stream, bro. I've had some shockers on this one.
Yeah, man, it's not going to be easy. Like, we're trying to beat the intergenerational sports washing champions in the flipping league, bro. Like, these men have got crazy, you know, like, it's like brothers never listened to that tune back in the day about Arab money and that. Like, that's what them men have got. Like, it's long. Like, and they've done all the cheating and built a foundation. We're competing with a super team. Of course, it's difficult, bro. It's not going to be easy. I hate this. I said it earlier in the season when we were talking about like dropping points to certain teams, and it's like, I feel like when people do say Arsenal fans are this or Arsenal fans are that, the point where I hear a bit of validity as an Arsenal fan is this expectation that we should just turn up and like trounce and mollywop every team every week. Who cares if they've got the best striker in Premier League history leading their line? Who cares if the best right winger in the world plays for them? Bro, like, we should just win 3-0 every week. oh, it's not how football works. And if it did, we wouldn't love it. It wouldn't be interesting. It wouldn't be fun. We wouldn't be able to spend 90 flipping minutes a week, sometimes more, chatting about it at this level because it would be predictable. So, yeah.
Yannick Sinner in tennis, bro. It's boring. No one wants to watch that shit. You want competition, bro. Yeah, I hear it. All right, cool. We'll see next week, man. The good thing about the Champions League when it gets to these stages is the first and second leg are like a week away each between each of them. So we'll know by this time next week whether you're in a Champions League final and whether you're building up some steam in the Premier League. But yeah, let's move on to the prediction league and the previews for game week 35. So prediction league, no changes really, apart from myself finally hitting double-digit correct scores, which Khem has been chatting about more than anyone in the group chat. So hold that, you prick. We'll go through that. So first, Rhys, 120, 22 correct scores. Johns is second, 119, 18 correct scores. Io is third with 111 and 16 correct scores. Khem is fourth, 110, 17 correct scores. Razor's fifth with 106 and 12 correct scores. I'm sixth with 103 points and 10 correct scores. And Nash actually had a decent week as well. He's got 84 points and 13 correct scores. So no changes on that. We'll start off with the Arsenal-Fulham game. So Rhys has sent in 1-0 Arsenal. Johns, who's living his best life in Japan right now, he also sent 1-0 Arsenal as well. Yeah. He's rocking that top as well, yeah. Io's gone 2-0 Arsenal. Yeah, Takumi Johns. Jonty Minamoto. Khem, what's your prediction in this one, Arsenal-Fulham?
What day of the week did I send this to you? I must have been vexed for something because I put 1-1.
No,
so the hater in me's kicked in somewhere. Yeah. I think this is a hate week for predictions for me.
All right, Razor, what's your prediction in this one, Arsenal-Fulham?
I think I said 2-0. 2-0. Did I say 2-0?
I think you did, yeah. You said 2-0.
Okay, good.
2-0. All right, I've gone 1-0 Arsenal. And Nash has also gone 2-0 Arsenal. So apart from Khem, we've all gone Arsenal win 1-0 or 2-0. So that will be fun. Basically, no one's going to change things too much there. All right, big six fixture of the week. United versus Liverpool. We were talking about it earlier.
In the country.
Bro, it usually is, but no one gives a flying fuck this time. We've both got top four pretty much sewed up.
Both got 20.
It's more
fixture in the
both
country.
Both got 20. Both got 20.
For Bruno
both got 20.
Get on with the prediction.
Both got 20.
But you know what, lads? I actually think that this is a bigger game for the managers than it is for the teams, which I know sounds mad weird, but I feel like it's going to be a bigger thing for Arne Slot to get a win or Carrick to get a win for, obviously, he's trying to get the permanent job than for the clubs. We've both pretty much got top four. For us, it's a massive achievement considering how shit we were last season. For Liverpool, it's weirdly still a massive underachievement considering you spent 500 million. So it's more on the managers, right? The managers, I think, are gaining, and the fans maybe. Bragging rights for the fans. Those are probably the
fans,
two things at play. Yeah.
You could win like 3-0 and there's still more chance of Slot staying in Carrick, bro. I think we know the manager situation.
This is true, bro. I saw they've been looking into hiring another Dutch coach to support him next season as well. So they've definitely
he's been doing
we love to see it, bro.
Studies or something. Yeah.
We love to see it, bro. All right. United Liverpool, Rhys has gone 2-2 draw. Johnson's gone 2-1 United. Io's gone 2-1 Liverpool. Khem, so what's your prediction in this one?
I actually almost done the same as Io, but I ended up going 2-2. It's more realistic.
All right. 2-2 draw. Razor, what's your prediction in this one? United Liverpool.
3-2 United and bum cheeks with the winner.
That guy needs to score, man. He has been cheeks for like 3 months. Bro.
I think he will.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. All right, I've gone 2-1 United. And Nash has gone nuts and gone 3-0 United. But let's hope. Let's pray. All right, Aston Villa, Tottenham. I mean, Tottenham. I don't know if you man saw Leeds yesterday, but Leeds are out of it now. They're safe. Kushti, no problem. Forest are slapping teams up, crazy. It is proper West Ham Tottenham to go down. And you kind of love to see it because they hate each other as well. So it's going to be absolutely balmy, like 3 or 4 weeks left of the season. But Villa are not playing that well either, man. So I don't know. This was really hard one for me to predict, man. But Rhys has gone 1-1 draw. Johnson's gone 2-1 Villa. Io's gone 2-0 Villa. Khem, what's your prediction in this one?
2-0 Villa.
2-0 Villa. All right. Razor, what's your prediction in this game?
2-1 Villa. Roll on the relegation.
Bro. I mean, I would ask if we had more people, but I think we all... Tottenham going down? Got to do it. Obligatory.
Nope.
One nod. One... Khem, you're always such a contrarian, bro. Tottenham are going down.
I have my reasons. I said them last time. I won't say them again. But when certain people are allowed back in, they'll be performing there.
Yeah, fair enough. I've gone 2-1 Aston Villa, but I wouldn't be shocked if Tottenham got a draw in this, man. The Zerbi's come out, fight and talk. Villa not playing well. And I don't know about you lot. I'd be going all out for Europa League if I was Villa at this point. They've not got much to lose in the league, man. So I'd consider just fielding fucking under 23s and a rotated team in this game. They probably still could win.
To flex as well.
Yeah, they could still win as well with that, considering how bad Tottenham have been. But yeah, I've gone just about Aston Villa 2-1. Nash has gone 1-1 draw. Chelsea Forest. Rhys has gone 2-1 Chelsea. I think he's being kind. Johnson's gone 2-1 Forest. Io's also gone 2-1 Forest. Khem, what's your prediction in this one, Chelsea Forest?
1-1 draw.
All right, 1-1 draw. Razor, what's your prediction in this one?
I just checked what I sent you, and what I sent you is 3-2 Chelsea, and I'm trying to think whether I thought that was the other way around.
I mean, it's possible, but high-scoring game. What do you, man, think? Do you think Forest are going to rotate? Because they're obviously in the semi-final with Europa, in the Europa against Villa as well. They got a big 1-0 win. Chris Wood's come back into the team. I think they still need to get one more win in the Prem before they can start chilling. So
yeah, they can't chill. I think they've just got to go for it and till the wheels fall off, really. If someone gets hurt, they get hurt.
Yeah, I think so. All right, 3-2 Chelsea is what you've gone for, Razor. I've gone 1-1 draw. Nash has gone 2-1 Chelsea. All right, Everton, Man City. This is on Monday, isn't it? Monday's got a weird fixture list. I swear they've got a 3 p.m. I know it's bank holiday, but they've got a 3 p.m. kickoff and then they've got like a late kickoff. But yeah, strange scheduling. But Everton City, Rhys has gone 1-0 City. Johnson's gone 2-0 City. Io's gone 2-0 City. Khem, what's your prediction in this one?
Khem's gone 2-0 City.
Fucking hell. All of you gone 2-0. Razor, what's your prediction in this one?
Ray's gone copy the homework, but make sure it looks different. So I've gone 3-1 City.
Man's putting a purpose, like that on purpose error just to make sure the teacher doesn't clock you've copied the homework. Yeah, let's see, man. Possible. Yeah. 10%. Yeah, cut off, shaved off the 10% at the top. I've gone 2-1 City, so I've done the same. And Nash has gone 3-1 City. All right, so we've all gone City win, so that's fun. All right, so predictions all in. Let's see. We've got obviously, this 3 days of football, considering we've got the bank holiday. And then, Arsenal Atletico's on Tuesday. So we'll know the fate of Arsenal in the title race in Champions League by Tuesday at 10 p.m. So let's see. We may get in an emergency midweek pod. Let's see how it goes. But we'll wrap up the pod here. Yeah, fair enough. We'll wrap up the pod here.
Either reason.
Yeah, I was going to say you either be celebrating or cracking out the Guinness or the Henny. But yeah, let's wrap up the pod here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Drop us a like, leave a comment, share the video. All the engagement is appreciated. And if you're listening on podcasting platforms, please follow us and leave a 5-star review. All that helps grow the pod. But yeah, we'll wrap up the pod here and we'll see you guys next week. Take care, everyone.
20 times.